What's good? It's your boy 2K here. I'm hitting y'all back with another one front side. When I said I'm back, that means I'm back, motherfuckers. There's gonna be a whole lot of content coming out in the next couple of weeks. For this one, I want to talk about AB. I want to answer some questions. A lot of cats been hitting me up, asking me my take on AB, and is he a gatekeeper, what he should do, you know, from here on out. And first thing I'm gonna do, y'all already know how I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to gloat. I already gloated once. I'm going to gloat again. I told y'all. You know what I'm saying? I told y'all, man. Adrien Broner is a B-level fighter. I've said that. My channel's been up about a year and a half, minus some layoffs and shit. I've had like, if you count my layoffs and combine them, it probably combines up to like 5 months. 6 months, you know what I'm saying? So you take that away from a year and a half, that's how long my channel's been up actively, you know what I mean? And I've done a couple videos in the past. I'm not sure, I can't remember if I've done isolated videos on AB or if it was a What's Hot segment that involved AB. But I've told you cats on here and I've told cats on social media that AB is a B-level fighter, you know what I'm saying? He's an unfocused B-level fighter, and it mainly stems from his daily lifestyle and who the fuck is in his camp. I've been screaming that Adrien Broner needs to get rid of that garbage ass amateurish motherfucking trainer and Mike Stafford for years. Before AB even went to 147, I said he needs to get rid of Mike Stafford when he was getting hit too much against Daniel Ponce de Leon. When he was getting hit, even though he knocked this cat out early, but he was still getting hit by Gavin Reese, which was the fight right before he went to 147. I said he needed to get rid of fucking Mike Stafford. I also said Barry Hunter seemed like a better trainer. we talking 4 years, you know what I'm saying? This was I think he fought De Leon like 2011. YouTube, correct me if I'm wrong. That would have been 6 years ago that I first said it, and then the Gavin Reese fight was 4 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So I've been on this tip about AB, you know what I'm saying, being a flawed fighter and not being the guy that he markets himself as being now. I will say this. I was a huge AB fan back when he knocked out Jason Litzau. Shit, the fight before Gavin Reese, even the fight during Gavin Reese. I thought he was a good fighter. I was one of them niggas. I was like, yo, at one point in his career, AB ain't losing to nobody. You know what I'm saying? I was like that. But there was subtle things that I had seen that I was like, yeah, you know, he's got this problem. He needs to get rid of his trainer, but he would still be undefeated at 135. If he goes to 140, I don't see nobody at 140 fucking with him. This is pre-Crawford. Crawford didn't exist yet, or at least he wasn't a big name fighter yet, right? So I was high on AB. And then when he mentioned during I think it was after the Antonio DeMarco fight, he said that he had trouble making weight. He said that he wanted to go to 140. You know, he wanted to follow Big Bro's footsteps and go to 147 and take over boxing at 147 just like Floyd Mayweather did. Then after the Gavin Reese fight, he made it official. He was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to 147. When he made it official, I was like, yo, I told my wife, I said, he's going to start taking L's. You know what I'm saying? Because the way that he fights at the lower weights, he's not going to be able to get away with that shit against bigger, more aggressive cats. You know what I mean? So I called this shit out a long time ago. I said AB was not going to have the success at 147 that a lot of motherfuckers thought he would. I felt that he should have gone to 140 and cleaned up that division and then went to 147, which he ultimately ended up doing, but in reverse. The nigga went to 147, lost to Marcos Maidana, then went down to 140 and beat garbage. Who did he beat? He beat the Mexican cat. I can't think of his name right now. Is he a gatekeeper? He's definitely a gatekeeper at 147. You know what I'm saying? Again, this is something that I told niggas before. I said AB cannot beat anybody at 147. You know what I'm saying? Now, I didn't say this when he moved up back in 2013. I just said back then that he will have trouble when he will start taking L's. I started saying AB cannot beat anybody at 147 when he lost to Sean Porter, a fight in which I predicted correctly as well. I knew Sean Porter was going to be, his aggression was going to be too much for the wide ass stance and low volume of Adrien Broner. You know what I'm saying? So after that fight, I said, yo, AB cannot beat anybody at 147. He can't beat Kell Brook. He can't beat Keith Thurman. Errol Spence had already knocked his ass out in sparring. He wasn't that a big talk at 147, but I was mentioning him at that time. And then, of course, he had already lost to Sean Porter. You know what I'm saying? I said the only cat that he could fuck with was Jesse Vargas. You know what I mean? So, and I definitely say he couldn't beat Tim Bradley at that time. Or Manny Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? So, but, you know, as the years went by, you know, AB stayed at 147. Tried to fight Adrien Granados at a catch weight, but couldn't make the weight, so it was within the 147 pound limit. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't look too good against Adrien Granados. You know what I mean? So a lot of cats had him losing against Adrien Granados. I had him winning, but a lot of cats had him losing. Realistically, if you look at Adrien Broner's resume at 147, right? He's had 4 fights within the 147 pound weight limit. Okay, Paulie Malignaggi, Marcos Maidana, Sean Porter, Adrien Granados, right? Now, Paulie Malignaggi, of course, was his first fight after the Gavin Reese fight at 147. I thought he lost that fight. You know what I'm saying? It was a split decision win for him. I thought he lost. I felt Paulie Malignaggi scored more points than Adrien Broner. That is what boxing's all about. You hit and don't get hit, and you try to outscore your opponent. A knockout is a luxury. That's what a lot of dumb motherfuckers don't understand. When you knock cats out, that's a luxury. You know what I'm saying? You don't really box niggas to knock them out. You box them to outpoint them. That's the name of the game. You know what I'm saying? And Paulie Malignaggi did that in my opinion. Now, realistically, Adrien Broner's record at 147 is 2-2. Okay? But I had him losing to Paulie. He lost to Marcos Maidana. He lost to Sean Porter. And I had him beating Adrien Granados. So my record for him at 147 is 1-3. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of other cats that felt he lost to Paulie and Adrien Granados, they got him at 0-4 at 147. So it's looking like, you know, my prediction back in 2013 after the Gavin Reese fight, actually 2012 after the DeMarco fight, that he would start taking L's at 147 held true. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we're seeing today. It came to fruition. Now, again, back to him being a gatekeeper at 147, as I stated when he lost to Sean Porter, I stated again, he can't beat anybody at 147. And it rings more true than ever now. You know what I mean? Before the Mikey Garcia fight, I said he couldn't beat any of the top welterweights. And I also added that he would possibly lose to Lamont Peterson if they fought. Now, of course, Lamont Peterson has already expressed that he doesn't want to make that fight because there's a conflict of interest with his head trainer being Barry Hunter and Barry Hunter being Adrien Broner's assistant trainer. So there's a conflict of interest there. Plus, the two guys are friends. Lamont Peterson say he don't want the fight. Adrien Broner say he would take the fight. You know what I'm saying? But I think he would lose to Lamont Peterson on top of the other 5 top welterweights out there. So he's always, to me, since losing to Sean Porter, was going to hold gatekeeper status at 147 if he decided to take those big fights at that division. All right. Now, if he moves down to 140, that's where I believe he can be a champion again. Now, listen to what I'm saying. Terrence Crawford has already expressed interest and moving up to 147 if he's able to beat Julius Ndongo August 19th for undisputed status at 140 pounds, right? He's already said he will most likely vacate his titles and move up for bigger and better challenges at 147. Now, my prediction is Terrence Crawford will become undisputed after August 19th. So therefore, I can conclude that he will vacate all of the titles at 140, move up to 147. That leaves 140 wide the fuck open. You got a cat like Regis Prograis down there. You still got Julius Ndongo down there. You still got Felix Diaz, a guy that even though he got dominated by Terrence Crawford, I think he could fuck with Adrien Broner. You know what I'm saying? But the talent pool is a lot less than the talent pool at 147, especially if Terrence Crawford goes to 147. That shit just gonna make it ridiculous. He has an opportunity with Terrence Crawford moving out of there to become world champion again. Any of those 4 belts could be his. You know what I mean? So I think if his body is able to withstand being drained to 140 for a few more years, then he should most definitely, without a doubt, campaign at 140. Now, here's the kicker. AB's all about money. You know what I mean? I won't say that he doesn't care about legacy, because he takes fights that he really doesn't have to take. Like, for example, the Marcos Maidana fight, he didn't have to take that fight. You know what I mean? He could have elected to fight somebody else, but he fought Maidana. Mikey Garcia, he definitely didn't have to fight Mikey Garcia, and he definitely didn't have to go down to 140 to fight Mikey Garcia. Broner was a full-fledged welterweight at the time that fight was announced. Shit, matter of fact, Broner weighed upwards of 165 pounds when that fucking fight was announced, and he agreed to drain himself all the way to 140, while Mikey Garcia, all he had to do was gain 5 pounds. So the advantage was obviously Mikey Garcia in those negotiations in terms of weight. You know what I mean? So he takes fights that he doesn't have to take. So I won't say that he doesn't care about legacy. That's the opposite behavior of a nigga that doesn't care about legacy, right? But money is a top priority for him. And Adrien Broner wants big fights. So stand at 140, I don't feel he can get the type of money that he's going to want if he can make big fights at 147 with those names that are going to be within that division. All right. But on the side note, Adrien Broner feels, and you know, it's evident based on the end of his interview with Jim Gray after the Mikey Garcia fight, when he said that all these motherfuckers are still going to come out here and watch him fight. It's evident that he feels that he could self-promote, meaning that he could fight, you know, Tom Cruise, and he's still going to sell an arena out. You know what I mean? So since he feels that he could self-promote himself and market himself to the point where he could still fill the seats even though he could be fighting a Joe Blow, well then maybe he won't have a problem fighting niggas with less names at 140, you know what I'm saying? And if that's the case, which I think it is, that's why I say he should stay there and possibly try to become a world champion again at that division. Because at 147, every last one of them niggas is going to run through you, dog. Like, straight up like a prostitute, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be the whore of 147. You know what I mean? So stay your ass at 140 if your body can take it. But that's what I think he should do. Man, he's got to get rid of Mike Stafford. Mike Stafford did get in his ass a little bit in this fight, but he didn't tell him what he needed to do to make the adjustments. You know what I'm saying? Mikey Garcia's angles were ridiculous, man. That half pivot was killing AB. He didn't know where he was at. And that was the tell of the fight after round 2, or from round 2 on, actually. That was the tell of the fight. You know, he was pivoting. He was being the aggressor. He was moving. I mean, round 11 was the greatest display of Mikey Garcia's superior movement against Adrien Broner, man. He was all over this nigga, and Adrien Broner had no answer. All he could do was clam up in a high guard. You know what I mean? Mikey Garcia had the nigga on the ropes. He was splitting his guard. He was jabbing, throwing a straight right hand to the body combination. I mean, it was just a beautiful display made by Mikey Garcia. And Adrien Broner, man, with his low output and his ability to not use enough of the ring, you know what I'm saying? He had no answer for it. Now, I said in the prediction video he needed to be first, but also said he needed to be high volume. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't that. He was first in the beginning of the fight, but towards the middle and the majority of the end of the fight, I mean, he didn't know what to do, man. Mikey Garcia was just completely controlling the pace of that fight. You know what I'm saying? So, in a nutshell, he would be a gatekeeper at 147, but he should go down to 140 and campaign there, and I think he would become a world champion again. Alright? I'm probably going to talk about Adrien Broner's titles, man. He's a 4-time champion. Probably doesn't really deserve that. You know what I'm saying? Especially beating fucking Khabib Alikverdiev after losing to Sean Porter and shit. I mean, it was an immediate title shot at 140 after he lost to Sean Porter within the 147-pound limit. Now, a lot of niggas, you know, they came back and was like, yo, you know, why y'all niggas tripping? You know, he was ranked high at 140 at the time. That's why he was able to get the title shot. Indeed. But morality has to kick in here, man. The nigga just took an L. I don't give a fuck where it was at. He just took an L. You know what I'm saying? Unless he was already champion and he was holding on to a belt, similar to what happened to Kell Brook when he went up to 160 and got his ass mollywopped by Triple G, and then he went down and immediately fought Errol Spence and got mollywopped again. You know what I'm saying? Got both his motherfucking eye sockets broken. That's a different story because he was already champion. Adrien Broner wasn't a champion at 140. So I felt that he needed at least one fight to solidify the ranking that he had, and then they could have put him in a title shot. But they gave it to him right after that. And then his title was vacated or stripped, and then he fought Ashley Theophane for it again. And that was his 4th title, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I think he lost to Paulie Malignaggi to get that 147 WBA title. So you could say 3 of his 4 titles were bullshit. You know what I'm saying? The only one really that he deserved, in my opinion, when he was champion at 135. Alright, YouTube, do what you do in the comment section. Let me know what you think about Adrien Broner being a gatekeeper and what he should do in his future. A lot of niggas think he should retire. A lot of motherfuckers talking about Victor Ortiz. Let me kill that shit real quick before I end this video. Stop talking about bitch ass Victor Ortiz. Yes, Adrien Broner is a clown ass nigga. He talks all this shit, goes in the ring, displays a low volume output, and gets beat the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Fine, right? But Victor Ortiz is a certified quitter. You know what I mean? One thing about Adrien Broner is this nigga got excellent heart. He will fight anybody. I've never heard Adrien Broner say, I will not fight this guy because he's too boring, or he's not enough money, or it's this, that, etc., etc. Adrien Broner takes fights that he shouldn't take, and he's willing to fight anybody the fuck out there. Victor Ortiz, on the other hand, he gets in the ring, gets hit one time, then the nigga quits. He's done that 3 fucking times already. So there is no fucking comparison between Adrien Broner and Victor Ortiz, and niggas is like, you know, making memes about them two fighting each other, man. Get the fuck out of here. Adrien Broner will beat the shit out of Victor Ortiz. Probably make the nigga quit in the 1st round. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Anyway, do what you do in the comment section. Let me know what you think. This is Real Talk for real fans. 1.